Donald Trump joins us live right now. Nice to talk to you, Donald.
Hello, Greta.
Donald, the intelligence briefings are going to begin for both you and Secretary Clinton very soon. The Democrats have issued dire warnings saying that you should not have classified information. In fact, Senator Harry Reid has said that they should give you fake information. The White House says you will get the regular briefing by the DNI, just like Secretary Clinton. But your thoughts, the Democrats saying you should not have these intelligence briefings?
Well, I'll tell you what my thoughts are. I said yesterday, long before they even thought of it, I said that she shouldn't get it. She deleted 33,000 emails. You saw what the FBI said. She was negligent. I've never seen anything actually like a report like that. But they said she was negligent and she lied. I mean, she lied. And I said yesterday she shouldn't be allowed to get briefings. She should absolutely not be allowed to get briefings because anything she gets, she has a phony server. What she's done is incredible. So when they say that, all they're doing is copying what I've been saying for actually a period of time right now, since I heard the report.
All right, you made a reference to those 30 or 33,000 emails that were deleted. You made a reference yesterday saying that something to the effect that they're encouraging the Russians to try to go look for those 33,000 emails if they haven't. You now say that that is a joke. Is that buyer's remorse?
Well, I was being, obviously, everybody knows I was being sarcastic when I said it, but where are those emails? I mean, why did she delete those emails, and how did she get away with it? Obviously, I was being sarcastic, and a lot of people really smiled and laughed. It was said in a sarcastic manner, obviously. I looked at the cameras. There were a tremendous number of press. It was in Florida, and everybody sort of chuckled. And what it was being sarcastic because how can anybody be talking about anything, Greta, when you look at what she's done and how she's abused the system with her server, with the deletion of all of this information and these emails. And, I mean, you have to be sarcastic when you see something like that happen.
All right. We have not spoken since you gave your acceptance speech for the nomination of the Republican Party. Your critics have called it dark, and I thought, how do you describe it? Would you describe it as something different, and was it meant to be inspirational? And I realize the fact that everyone uses the same term is always a little bit suspicious when I hear so many people say the same word, and the word dark was used by it, so naturally it looks like they all read each other.
Well, most people liked it, and in fact, there was a 75% approval rating, which was extraordinarily high, done by one of your competing networks in terms of the speech. I got really rave reviews on the speech, but I would say the haters, yeah, they said it was dark, and I say it wasn't dark; it was optimistic. I viewed that as hope. I viewed that as optimism because I talk about the problems, which President Obama didn't want to talk about last night. He didn't talk about radical Islamic terrorism. He didn't talk about the problems that this country has with borders and with trade, where we're losing $800 billion a year in terms of trade deficits. You take a look at our trade numbers are horrendous. Take a look at the main numbers. Our jobs are leaving our country. They're moving to Mexico and other places. People are being fired. You just take a look. I mean, you have to talk about, if you're talking about our country, you have to talk about the good and the bad. He didn't want to talk about all of the problems. Our real unemployment rate is astronomical because people have given up looking for jobs, Greta. You know that better than anybody. You report on it as much as anybody, and they're sitting home. They gave up, and now they're considered employed. So we have a lot of problems with our country, but I view it not as dark. I view it as I state the fact, and then I say we're going to fix it. I think it was very optimistic, and that's what I wanted to portray, and most people saw it that way.
If Secretary Clinton were willing to give up the transcripts from her Goldman Sachs and other Wall Street speeches, would you be willing to give up or surrender or let the media see your tax returns, and if it's not, and at least not for the years not currently in audit?
Well, one thing, I don't think the transcripts, they don't mean very much to me. What really means something are the 33,000 emails that she deleted. That's what I think she should be giving up. She should find out there is a way of finding emails. And I've always heard that when you're in, whether it's litigation or otherwise, it's virtually impossible to get rid of emails, to delete emails, and to make them permanently gone. I would be very interested, but not with transcripts. I'm not interested in her transcripts. I'm much more interested in her emails, what would happen. Now, with that being said, you're the one that said recently, and I've used your name a couple of times, that if I had a client who was under a routine audit by the IRS, I wouldn't let him go public until the audit is over. Now, you said that on your show, and you were speaking then not as a great and talented anchor, but you were speaking as a lawyer and somebody that knows what they're talking about. But you said yourself,
yeah,
if you were a lawyer, you wouldn't do it.
I said as a lawyer for the years in audit, absolutely. But now let me be a political person or a media person for the years at least not in audit, because there's certainly years that are not in audit. So give sort of a general idea and to sort of call off the dogs on the people who are after your tax returns to look at them. Why not release those that are not in audit, even if they go back a number of years?
I haven't had much pressure. I'll be honest. Most people don't care about it. The only one that cares is certain people in the media. I've had very, very little pressure. And I remember with Mitt Romney 4 years ago, everybody wanted his, and his is a peanut compared to mine. It's like a peanut. It's very small, not nearly as big a document. I mean, mine, you saw the picture where it's 2 or 3 feet high. Now, they finally got it in September. He decided to give it. And they found a couple of little minor things, little things that didn't mean anything. He did nothing wrong. By the way, Mitt Romney did nothing wrong. But when they gave him, they found a couple of little sentences. If you remember, Harry Reid lied about it. He told a dirty lie, and Mitt gave that. And after he gave it, they found a little sentence, and they made such a big deal. He might have lost the election over that.
All right. Did you watch President Obama's speech last night and your critique of it?
I thought his speech was good. I thought it was well delivered, but I don't think he said what's going on with the country. He didn't talk about radical Islamic terrorism. He didn't talk about the problems. He didn't talk about the fact that people right now, that people 18 years ago were making more money in real wages than they're making today, and in many cases they're now working harder in 2 jobs. He didn't lay out the facts. He laid out just a rosy picture. He didn't lay out what's really happening in our country. He didn't talk about our borders. He didn't talk about thousands of people coming in from Syria. We have no idea who they are, what they are, and what kind of damage will be inflicted. You look at what's going on in France and Germany and other places. He didn't talk about that.
You know, November's just around the corner, and no matter what happens, I think, always in November, the country tries to come together, who's ever elected. So let me ask you a couple soft questions. Is it at least fun for you, because Ivanka introduced you? Is tonight Chelsea Clinton, who we saw grow up, she's going to introduce her mother. Do you think, is it sort of fun for you to watch that or not?
I would really look forward to watching it. And I will tell you, Ivanka has a lot of respect for Chelsea Clinton. She really likes her, but she has a lot of respect for Chelsea Clinton, and I'm sure Chelsea will do a very good job.
Well, it's fun for all of us to watch the children of the candidates. One last question. Leader Pelosi said that she doesn't think anyone should vote for a candidate because of gender. That was Leader Pelosi here last night. But in light of that, stepping aside from the fact I realize you're running against Secretary Clinton, is there something, sort of your thoughts on the fact that it's a rather historic night tonight because a woman will be nominated, formally accept the nomination to be head of party? I know you want to beat her in November, but any thoughts on the historic impact?
Well, I think that you're going to have a woman. I think she's the wrong woman, and you look at her track record, it's dismal with Libya and all of the mistakes that she's made. You just look at the report issued last week by the FBI. It's a disaster. It said she lied. She really put our country at risk with the server. You look at all of the things that are happening, I just don't know, frankly, how a person like this would be electable. Now, with that being said, someday, and I think it's not going to be in the very distant future, you will absolutely have a woman be president, and I look forward to that.
Donald, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Greta.